Yo, what's going on guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna take a look at this RPK 1101 designed by the company of which I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name of. So right after you open the package, you're gonna find the gun itself in its stock version, which looks like this, with this full metal high capacity magazine for 600 BBs. In the package itself, you're also gonna find this 8.4 volts NIMH accumulator, alongside with NIMH charger and also a couple of BBs to just test fire your replica. So the accumulator actually goes right here into the stock. Basically you just unscrew these two screws and then you are able to plug the NIMH accumulator in, or LiPo with the TD reduction. So the ideal voltage is 9.6 volts NIMH or 7.4 LiPo. I honestly use 9.6 volts NIMH accumulator, and I didn't have any troubles with running this gun. So when you put a magazine in, the gun looks something like this, which is extremely nice in my opinion. And basically the material of the gun is this, and this is real wood, also with the stock being made out of real wood. Then you got the body of the gun alongside with the barrel, which is made out of full metal, and then full metal magazine. So I obviously use the original magazine, but the disadvantage of it is basically that it is scroll feeding, which means that you need to scroll it after like 30 or 40 shots, which might be really annoying in a field, and you don't have really a time for that. And also if you buy the RPK, you mainly want to, you know, spray with it because it's an LMG. So I would also advise you to buy some push feeding magazine. The push feeding magazines usually contain like 110 or 150 BBs, which is also not ideal when you want to spray with the RPK that you buy for yourself. So I would actually recommend you maybe to buy some CYMA drum magazine, which basically has a capacity for 2500 BBs, and it also the magazine also has its own motor. So with this being said, let's actually talk about how is this gun practical in real combat. So this gun weighs around 4 kilos or 3 kilos and 900 grams, so basically 4 kilos, and it is really long. I think it is 1 meter and 5 centimeters to be precise. So yeah, it is kind of hard to maneuver. But what actually helps is the bipod that is attached to the barrel of the gun. Obviously you have it in the stock version of the gun, you don't need to buy it separately, which is a plus because it saves some money. And also it is really tightly attached to the barrel, so you don't need to worry about it falling off. So yeah, the bipod is actually fine, but it doesn't actually solve the problem of heavy weight of this gun. So I would only recommend you to buy this if you are too strong to carry it for like 2, 3, 4 hour battles in your hands, or you just should buy it and maybe just, you know, move it a few minutes throughout the forest or something, or some area where you play, and then basically put down the bipod and just camp there. But what makes this gun really special is its electric blowback, which basically, you know, puts this thing right here, and it basically gives you the impression of real gun, which is extremely fun. It is extremely fun to shoot it, even at the range when you are not playing the actual airsoft match. But when you actually play the airsoft match with this thing, a lot of my friends even were scared of playing against this gun. So yeah, I mean, it is extremely fun to use, and it is extremely intimidating for the enemy to face it. So now let's talk about the power of the gun. So the power of the gun is 1.4 joules with a maximum range of 54 meters. The velocity is 120 meters per second or 394 feet per second. So now let's switch to the inner components of the gun. So the gun uses V3 gearbox, which is a classic for all the AK platforms, alongside with a plastic adjustable hop-up and 18:1 metal gears. The gun also uses 7mm metal bearings, which they are basically great for improving the rate of fire, but on the other hand they are more fragile due to some smaller steel balls inside of them. Here is basically the list of all of the inner components that the gun has. So now let's talk about the history of this gun. So the RPK-74 was originally designed by the legendary gun constructor Mikhail Kalashnikov. The RPK-74 has its name based on the year that it was designed or produced, which was the year 1974. If you would wonder, that's the same reason why the AK-74 is AK-74. So as I mentioned earlier, the RPK was produced at the same time when AK-74 was, making it easier for Soviet troops to learn how to operate them both simultaneously. You might also actually know it from Battlefield 3 and 4 or 2042 and Call of Duty. So now it is time for me to give you my final recommendation. So this gun is definitely not beginner friendly, since you really need to fall in love with Airsoft LMGs to actually enjoy and play some good games with this gun. But if you are this type of person, I would actually recommend it to you a lot. The gun costs 250 bucks, which is a great price for, well, basically having Airsoft LMG with also an electric blowback with real wood and full metal. So the final rating is 10 out of 10 if you are actually the Airsoft LMG lover, but if you are some beginner or some regular Airsoft player, I wouldn't probably recommend it too. So now the question is, where should you play with it? Well, I play with it in the forest or some open field areas, because playing in some CQB arenas is really not a smart idea due to the length, weight and basically a full auto limit that this gun has, because, you know, in some inner arenas the full auto is basically banned completely, so you could only play with basically the semi fire regime, which is basically not that fun and it is really impractical. So at the end of the day, if you actually enjoy playing as a support basically in the airsoft, this gun is definitely made for you. And also the electric blowback is actually really fun and it gives you the best experience possible with the airsoft EAGs. So now I'm gonna show you a clip of me shooting it at the garden.